Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be looking at a Schaublin 70 lathe. This one was produced around 1950. There are at least three different types of headstocks to the Schaublin lathes, and this one is one of the older types, characterized by the two oil caps here. These two oil caps are the hint that you have this type of bearing, and it's the plain bearing type. Plain bearing in the front, however, there is also a roller thrust bearing, like this, which is found right inside of here. We're going to show you how to disassemble and reassemble this. Certain parts of the assembly, including the indexing headstock here, have already been removed. 3 screws, piece of cake, that comes off. The next thing you need to do, if you have the indexing headstock, is to remove the head screw here, or the set screw. Pull this off, and there's also a set pin here, right there, which we've removed. After that, one loosens this set screw here in order to allow the drive mechanism to slide freely. We need to do that because we need to push it this way as far as possible. Following that, we can unscrew the sleeve right here. This screws off, and after you unscrew it, you reveal these 2 screws here. These screws are then loosened, which allows you to adjust using a pin here, and you can adjust the tightness and remove the whole bar. So we're going to do that right now. Slide a bar in there and just screw that off. As we screw, we're going to need to slide the bar forward a little bit, otherwise it's going to jam in place. But we continue to screw that for just a second here. And there we are. We have now disassembled the headstock. Going to slide this out of place so we can see what the parts consist of. And here we are. So, again, the collar, the dust washer here, the drive mechanism, indexing in the back, and here's the exciting part, which is the bearing, if it will come and visit us here. And the washer got stuck on this side. Alright, normally this bearing washer is a single assembly. It's 5mm assembly here. However, these days this part is rare. It can be obtained out of the UK. The bearing that I took out here is supposed to be 5mm thick. This was 5.05. However, due to wear in this inner brass bearing here, it actually needs to be smaller to tighten up the tolerances. So what I had to do is I had to machine down the new washer assembly. This started out at 5mm. I had to machine it down to about 4.9, and that gives me a fairly tight fit. Originally there was a lot of slop, but the slop was not only caused by the bearing. The slop was also caused by this part of the head assembly here, which had loosened up. And the reason this had loosened up was because the previous owner had tried to take out the slop of the bearing by simply clamping it harder with this nut. If you clamp this hard, you create a lot of friction here, and this will cause the whole headstock casing here to simply unscrew. Very bad thing to do. So if you have a little slop there, don't tighten this any tighter than it takes to get rid of the shake in this direction, the axial shake. If it's still sloppy, then you need to actually machine down the backside of the bearing here. And that's all there is to it. Let's reassemble this and see how it goes together. First we're going to stick the belt in here so that that's in place. Then we will start assembling pieces. We have is going to go there, and this one is going to go here. So let's start like that, and then we have the drive mechanism. You know what, we're going to do this a little bit differently. Alright, make sure that we get it tight enough so the end shake is removed, and the side shake should be removed if we have the right size washer. So we're going to call that about right. And then once we have that in place, we tighten the set screws. Number 1. Number 2. The next step is the dust washer here. Alright, when we're tightening up the belt and finding the right position for that, we use the line here to align it with the screw. And our set screw just popped out, so put that back in. So we line those up. And then we're going to hunt around a little bit for that hole. Should be around here. There we go. And once we find the hole, it settles right into place. Tighten that up. And there we have the assembly. I think I got it just a little bit too tight, so I will reassemble this later and get that perfect. But there we have it. Thank you for watching.